Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's BigHatBrock coming at you guys with another book video. Today, we're going to be looking at 10 books I want to read in 2025. I've got a big stack of the books next to me. We're going to go through each one and talk about them. It's going to be very similar to all the books I read in 2024 video. I'm going to hold them up, take a look, I'll talk a little bit about them, and move on to the next one. All right. And without further ado, let's get to it. So the first book I have here, I actually started it a few days ago, is Assassin's Creed Renaissance by Oliver Bowden. This is a novelization of Assassin's Creed 2, like the video game. And I like reading novelizations every now and again because if I've already watched or played the whatever was beforehand, the movie, the game, and it makes it easier to imagine what's happening. It helps me picture the setting going on, and that kind of helps the reading process go faster. So every once in a while, it's nice to do that. Also, you can see like what differences there were between the book and the game or the movie or whatever. So that's fun. I'm really excited to get back into this. I've read it. This will be the second time I read it. The first time I read it, I didn't really like it, but I also hadn't played Assassin's Creed 2 in a while, so I forgot like all the details. So this will be a lot more fun having freshly played Assassin's Creed 2 recently. So that's going to be a fun one. Excited to keep going with this one. Alright, next up is a book called Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a part of Jeff Vandermeer's Southern Reach trilogy. There's now 4 books. If you've ever heard of the movie Annihilation with Natalie Portman, that was a book first, and then there's 2 other books. There's Annihilation, and I always get the next 2 mixed up, but it's like Authority and Acceptance or something like that. It probably says it on here, and I'm just not even paying attention. But I really like that trilogy, and I was kind of surprised he wrote a 4th one. And it doesn't exactly wrap up at the end, but it's one of those like, I guess that's maybe more. This is more the point. Like it's like this could be the end, but there could be more. So I'm excited to read this 4th one. Series is super trippy, super confusing, just wild cosmic stuff, but I like it. And I'm excited to read this 4th one. This came out in October of 2024? Maybe it was 2023? No, it was recent. It was like October 2024. So I want to get back into this series. Excited to finish this one. Yeah, it should be a good one. I'll try my best not to say, yeah, it should be a good one. I'm excited to read this. Like, maybe I could be a little more unique. Each one is kind of like, yeah, of course I'm excited to read this, right? That's why it's on the list. This one I am really excited to read. Here we have... So the cover, Lords of Nocturne, The Salamanders, Omnibus. I forgot what it said. I had to look at it. If you remember from my best book of the year video, I was talking about the book Salamanders from the Warhammer 40k universe. That is the start of a trilogy, and I never read the other 2 books, and then last year they released this awesome omnibus with all the other books in it. So there's 2 more books, plus like some side stories. So I couldn't decide if I wanted this to be 1 book or 2 books. And honestly, I can't remember. So let's say this is 2 books, unless we get to the end and realize there's more than 10. But yeah, so really excited to get back into this trilogy though. Might start those books next, honestly. Alright, up next we got 2 kind of intense books. I wanted to put them back to back to kind of get them out of the way, so we're not sitting too long in some more intense topics. But we have the book Play Nice by Jason Schreier? Not sure how to say that. The Rise, Fall, and Future of Blizzard Entertainment. This is, so Blizzard is a video game company, one I was a big fan of. I'm still kind of am, but there was some awful allegations and some just awful things going on at the studio several years ago, and I would assume this book kind of chronicles, like I said, the rise and fall. Like I said, is all the start of the company and where they are now and all the bad things they went through. My brother got this for me for Christmas. I don't typically read books like this. I typically have to read either fiction or an autobiography, but this could be a nice challenge, so a nice way to kind of switch up what I'm reading about. So not sure when I'll get to this one, but definitely one I want to read this year. Now that I think about it, this one's kind of 50-50 intense, 50-50 fun stuff. This is called Men in White the gutsy, against all odds return of Penn State football. I'm a fan of Penn State football. I think they should have called this Men in Blue. I think Men in White is just a weird title. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. But this is like kind of firsthand accounts of people who were instrumental in keeping Penn State football together after the sanctions and everything that happened with Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky and all that. So, which is a real intense time for the area. That was a weird time to be alive. But I'm excited to just hear the firsthand accounts of people like Michael Motti and Bill O'Brien. I forgot his name. I had to go back in the memory banks to find that one. People like that and kind of the future going forward. Yeah, this should be a fun one. There we go. I said it again. I can't be stopped. I guess I'm just going to say the same stuff over and over again. Okay, next up we have Dune, I don't know how to... Butlerian Jihad. This is the start of a prequel trilogy for the Dune books written by Brian Herbert, the son of Frank Herbert, and Kevin J. Anderson. They reference the events of this trilogy a lot in the main Dune books. Of course, Frank Herbert had passed away at this time, so his son and this other guy are kind of going back and going off of his notes to create more stories. This is a series that came out, I think, in like early 2000s, but they reference this series a lot, and I'm really excited to get into it. We can see the other 3 books there on the back, but I like the world of Dune. The original 6, written by Frank Herbert, are pretty confusing and very unique in a good and a bad way, but I think the science fiction element of it is really what pulls me in. I'm a big science fiction fan. So definitely want to get to this one soon. Next up is Peter Watts. Oh, whoa, the cover's all funny. I think OBS thinks it's like a green screen or something. Huh, how about that? Okay, well, anyway, let's see if it does on the back too. That's only the green, yeah. So this is... I can't get over that. This is Blindsight by Peter Watts. I think Peter Watts is like one of the more important science fiction authors of all time. I don't typically read books without some other existing part of it. Like, I'll read books from a video game, or I'll read books that take place in the world of a movie, or if a book like Dune, for example, gets popular enough that eventually there's going to be a movie, I'll check it out, and then I read the others. This one, I kind of just read the back of it, and I'd heard about Peter Watts, and I read the back of it, and I was like, that actually sounds really good. I enjoyed the premise of it. I know it's like, it has to do with aliens, and they send like a bunch of people. Like, one of them is a pacifist. Let me see if I can find the list on here. It says, send a linguist with multiple personality disorder and a cyborg biologist who can't feel his own flesh. Send a pacifist warrior and a vampire resurrected by the voodoo of paleogenetics. Send a man missing half his mind since childhood and pray they can be trusted with the fate of the world. Because they may be more alien than the thing they've been sent to find. Yeah, so like hearing that cast of characters and having to deal with aliens and stuff, I was like, sounds like a cool cast of dudes, and I want to get into it. So yeah, Blindsight. It's funny that the OBS still thinks it's like a green screen. I'm not going to edit that out. That's saying in, buddy. Alright, we're down to the final 2, and I realized that Warhammer book counted as 2 books because this is number 9 and 10. I did a quick recount. Next up, we have Mankind. Have a Nice Day. A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks by Mick Foley. This is, as you can probably tell by this logo, it was old enough to come out in the old WWF logo. Another pro wrestling book from the world of WWE. I've heard this is one of the more important and just a really good book by Mick Foley. I think he kind of started more wrestlers writing their own autobiographies. And I found it at a thrift store for like $7 or something like that. It might have been cheaper than that. And I was like, yeah, I heard this book is really great from the world of pro wrestling, and so I'll give it a read. I like the back of the cover here. We have Mick Foley as Mankind. You can also see the outline of his mask. You can't really see, but all of these little squares are pointing to a part of his body and talking about like an injury he's had. So it's like bruised kidney, 5 broken ribs, broken left thumb, 2/3 of ear ripped off, 4 front teeth knocked out. So Mick Foley, known for just doing some insane stunts and always putting his body in harm's way for the love of pro wrestling. I know he even wrestled like C4 like matches, like the matches included explosives, like real explosives. So that'll be exciting to hear about, and his upbringing, his childhood as well. So really excited to read this one. I guess that thing I said about not repeating myself, I'm just gonna throw out the window and say the same thing over and over again. But yes, really excited to read that one. And the final book. Final book is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson, An Antidote to Chaos. Now, before we go any further, Jordan B. Peterson is a bit of a unique individual and has said some stuff recently that I don't exactly agree with. But this book was written a while ago. It was recommended to me by a friend. I'm still trying to get through it. And I've heard that the contents of this book are good and can be taken as a positive change for someone's life. So far, I am liking it. I don't agree with all of it, but I'm like, okay, I do think objectively good, positive stuff here. As far as Mr. B. Peterson goes, Kermit the Frog's, long-lost brother or something. Not great stuff as of recently, but I think this book is fine on its own. Again, it's a challenge for me, not really fiction, not really autobiographical, but I'm going to try my best to finish it. And, my friend lent it to me, so I feel like I should honor that. So there you go. Those are the 10 books I really want to read this year. I'll probably end up reading 10 more books, and there's always at least a few that I end up buying, wasn't really planning on reading. So we'll see at the end of the year how many I've read, and if I ended up reading any of these, or maybe I'll read none of them. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, tell a friend, and let me know if you've read any of these books, or if there's any books you recommend that I should read that you think I'd like in the comments below. Alright everyone, as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace.